Hello everyone, Mike Starks with Remax Town & Country here, bringing you the mid-year real estate report for Fredericksburg and Gillespie County. And it certainly has been a crazy couple of years, and the first half of 22 really has been no different with some more record-breaking numbers. Although I think we're about to see a major change in activity for the second half of the year. But for now, let's talk about what has already occurred, and I'll pull my crystal ball out and try to predict the future a little later. So as always, let's talk numbers. We'll start with total sales in Gillespie County for the first half of the year. In 2021, we'd sold a total of $254 million of real estate, and in the first half of this year, we've sold $273 million. So the dollar volume of sales was up 7.2%. However, even though the dollar totals were up, the number of individual property sales are certainly down. In 2021, we had 512 real estate transactions in the first half of the year. In 2022, we've only had 360 real estate transactions, so that number's down about 30%. And I think this is a trend that is going to get even more noticeable in the second half of the year with activity and total numbers of transactions continuing to decline. So let's move into sales of homes in the Fredericksburg city limits. For the first half of 2021, we'd sold about $91 million. In the first half of 2022, we've sold about $94 million. So in-town home volume for dollar sales was up about 3.6% year over year. But again, if we look at the total numbers of homes that have sold, we're down 18.2%. 144 homes sold this year compared to 176 homes last year. Then to talk about home prices for homes in Fredericksburg city limits. So we ended last year with the average home price of $549,829. At the midpoint of 2022, our average in-town home price is at $658,030. So that's a jump of like 16.5% just since the first of the year. Now, I think a lot of that big jump was because we really had a big flurry of short-term rental buyers trying to get under the wire before the city changed the STR rules. And, you know, they were willing to buy just about anything just to get in the door before that was closed. Because now that there are some pretty big limitations on someone's ability to turn a house into an STR now. Which brings up another point. I mentioned in my report at the first of the year, I thought this would end up making a big difference in what one house might sell for compared to the house next door. And up until now, I've always just taken all the home sales in town and averaged that price out, because up until a few months ago, just about any house had the potential to become an STR. So pretty much every house was equal. But now I'm wondering if maybe I should start having a whole separate category for STRs that's, you know, separate from house sales. And I'm kind of thinking I should, because since the new ordinance has been in effect for a few months, I decided I would run the average STR versus the average house price that sold. So I took the second quarter of last year and the second quarter, of this year, and ran the numbers. So for the short-term rental, second quarter, the average sales price was $1,091,192, or $584 a square foot for the average STR in the second quarter of this year. Meanwhile, a home that can't be an STR had an average sales price of $648,891, or $338.30 per foot. So right now, it looks like the average short-term rental is selling for about 41% more than just a regular house. Now, this is a very small sampling and only a few months of data, so I don't think that huge disparity will remain, but it'll be an interesting number to track to see how that affects the market. So now let's talk about land sales. Here we're seeing the same kind of pattern as we did with homes, more dollar volume, but fewer transactions. In 2021, the first half of the year, we'd sold about $76 million of raw land in Gillespie County. In 2022, we've sold about $98 million. So that's an increase in dollar volume of about 22%. On the other hand, last year we had 173 individual transactions, as opposed to this year we had 118 transactions. So about a 41% decline in total transactions. And then as usual, just to give you a breakdown of the price per acre by size, the average 1 to 5 acre price halfway through the 2022 is at $41,443. A 6 to 10 acre tract, $46,101. An 11 to 25 acre tract, $30,039. 26 to 50 acres is at $32,866 mid-year 2022. 51 to 100 acre tracts is at $19,619. 101 to 250 acres averaging $19,073 per acre, and 250 plus acres is averaging $12,907 per acre. Then I've been keeping land sales along 290 in a separate category just because it's really kind of more of a commercial sale these days. So the average price on 290 East is currently at $80,067 per acre. So the first half of the year has been really strong, but as I'm sure you've seen on the news, it looks like the rest of the year may be in for a real slowdown for the real estate market. You know, the higher interest rates coupled with inflation taking more money out of people's pockets will definitely have an effect on the real estate market across the country. And, you know, we're certainly living in some interesting times right now. I mean, for instance, like inflation is usually a sign that the dollar's buying power is getting lower. But in fact, the dollar is at a 20-year high compared to other currencies. Now, of course, that's kind of like saying I'm going to go on a diet by getting fatter friends. You know, so as bad as we may be doing economically right now, much of the rest of the world is doing even worse. So anyway, let me break out my crystal ball, as I mentioned earlier. I think the next 12 to 18 months, real estate in Fredericksburg and the Hill Country will see a pretty drastic reduction in the amount of buyers. Demand will still be there, but economics will probably just keep a lot of those potential buyers on the sideline for a while. And I think the in-town home sales may take the biggest hit because that STR ordinance that came out really came at a bad time, and that's going to drive away a lot of the investor money that had been pouring in. However, I think Fredericksburg, this will be a lot like the 2008-2009 market. We will sell a lot fewer properties, but I don't think we're going to see any big hit in price. Our appreciation rates have been in the double digits, and I think that'll cool off to single digits, or maybe even it may go a little bit flat in the next 12 months. And that's actually a good thing. You know, that lower appreciation rate, we've been too hot for too long. It'll be good to cool off a little bit for Gillespie County. But anyway, for Gillespie County, I think most homeowners, property owners are really good conservative fiscal types who, if they can't sell their house or their property for the money they need, they'll just wait to sell it till later. So I'm really not expecting to see any drastic change in prices, just activity. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how my future telling skills play out. So that's it for now. As always, if you want more information, you can visit my site at mikestarks.com, or if you're on YouTube or Facebook, there should be a link above or below. And thanks for watching.